can actually hear that through the headphones. That's crazy. This thing picks up everything.
From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
Well, hello, Seth.
Well, hello there.
How the heck are you?
Shenanigans, Mr. Big Titties.
Damn, you sound amazing. Hey, folks, so we got some new toys that we're playing with, and we need to know what you think. If you yank that weight off the table and onto your foot, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
I am not that strong.
I know we have a little bit of echo going on, and it sounds a little bit tinny, but it should be better than it was. So let us know what you think, if you can hear us okay. There's a lot of work to do. Neither one of us are
savvy individuals.
Yeah. But we're getting there. So yeah. Let me move this away from my face a little bit. So
welcome to
From the Ashes.
From the Ashes on About Face Radio.
New and improved.
Constantly improving. And the good thing about where we're at is there's plenty of room for more improvement.
I see the issue. Your computer sound isn't broadcasting. Oh, well, that's going to be a heartache and problem. Okay. Oh, no. Well, that's not going to work with our guest then, is it, Phil? Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Well, we have some issues to work through. You still haven't mailed that deck, Shenanigans? No, I have not. I don't have to mail it because the dude lives in our town. So all I have to do is go see him and take some pictures. But it's going to come to him. I think. Oh, Bernie's already in the green room. Look at that. That's kind of cool.
Hang around, Nick.
I told him, so y'all sound like shit so far away. Something is not hooked up right. Yeah, that's probably accurate. Should I switch it and shut it all down?
Should we just go back to for right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to do the Combat Carl. So and it's going to be a funny one. So hold on just 1 second. We're going to go to a quick commercial break.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Presenting the Best of Fightin' collection, now on home video. Now you can enjoy all your favorite wacky moments from America's senile old granddad.
Well, you know, gay bathhouses and everything. It's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
Including sniffing a baby.
And there we are. So, yeah, what do you think, folks? Can you hear us now? You should be able to hear us without any problems. We're getting the thumbs up from the audio guy that's sitting in the green room right now.
Awesome. All right, we're good to go. Well, we will keep working on, that flex capacitor and get all the kinks worked out, and we will hopefully sound better next week.
My homegirl, Big Joe, says, actually, Seth needs to get close and personal with that mic. It's the only thing he hasn't. He is harder to hear and more tinny. Basically, we're going to get there. It just takes a little bit of effort on our parts. We are not tech people. Warriors Next Adventure hooked us up. They got us a new webcam, a set of headphones, and so Seth can hear what our guests are saying. And what else did they get us? Headphones. Oh, and the thing for the webcam. They got us a bunch of stuff, which was super cool of them, I thought. In the meantime, we will get this figured out. Thank you for your feedback. And Phil, thanks for your help getting this all set up. More importantly, give me a sec here. Let me get out of this.
We haven't discussed this one. Usually we discuss this all week
Carl?
long. Yeah.
I know,
But we haven't.
but this is a kind of a good one. Nothing is broadcasting over the station. Disconnect, bro, and run it through StreamYard. Don't get wrapped around the axle. I am disconnected. We should be broadcasting on the station right now. We are. All right. Cool. Technical difficulties. You know how it goes. So let's go to the Google machine real quick.
The Google machine.
BI, RAID, Special Forces on the drive. All right. So this is coming from the drive. And long story short, April 6, 2023. Yep. Hey, let me make sure you can hear us, folks. So as long as you can hear us, that's the important part. On social media platforms and on if we're broadcasting on Live 365. A joint training exercise gone wrong left an innocent man in handcuffs in the bathroom of a hotel in Boston earlier this week. The practice raid carried out by the members of the FBI and U.S. Army Special Operations Forces. That's right. Special Forces Operation Detachment Delta.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Raided the wrong hotel room. The guy was not in play. They barged into the wrong room, interrogated an unsuspecting suspect. The faux raid happened sometime before midnight local time on March 4th at the Revere Hotel in Boston. Members of the Boston police responded to a call about the situation at around 12:20 a.m. the following morning and were met by law enforcement agents conducting a training exercise inside the building. So let's say that you book your room at the Four Seasons and life is good. And all of a sudden,
Delta.
the Delta breaks down your door and black bags you, cuffs you, and drags you off into the night. Yeah. You are not broadcasting commercial. We see you. What does that mean? I can only do so much. Uh-oh. Now playing. Okay, there we are. Now you both sound like you're in the tunnel again. I can only do so much from here, and I'm not good at this kind of stuff. But that, Joe, thank you for letting us know that. I do appreciate it. You are not broadcasting commercial. We see you. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right. That's what I want.
You want to be seen?
I do want to be seen.
That's why you're not camera.
But yeah, I mean, dude, there was a short time where I was assigned to JSOC. I was not a cool guy. I was the guy that carried the gear and organized your medical records. That was it. But I got to work with some of those guys. And long story short, I wouldn't want those guys.
I don't want
my
to in
hotel
that
room.
door. That's scary.
Even in a training, so you know they got the blue magazines in and all the training rounds and stuff like that. But still, there's just so many things that can go wrong. Disconnect from the station. You're not broadcasting. No sound. Oh, okay. I got what you're getting at. So we're going to shut off our radio station for right this second. Not sure why that is going like that. It's not connecting. Oh, well. All right. Well, we'll just have to broadcast this show later.
Okay.
But that's all right. But yeah, so that's my Carl for the week. I mean, there were so many Carls to pick from. Like, I don't know if you saw, that is a pretty good one.
That is not one that I feel like easily comes across the the Google and the news, the regular news headlines. That's when we kind of try and keep quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that would be hilarious and a really good story for especially I feel like your average civilian. You know.
I do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like homeboy like sells carpet or something.
A minute later, I'd be smoking and joking with them, but your regular civilian is trying to clean their underwear and trying to figure out what country they're in. You know.
So somewhere there is a public information officer who is freaking out about their job.
I'm sure. Oh,
sorry about this, folks. We're having technical difficulties. We did all kinds of sound checks beforehand. But there's a lot going on. So because we broadcast to the internet as well as to our social media platforms. So yeah, that's why we're having some sound problems and whatnot. And we got all this cool new gear, so we're getting there. Hey, folks, we had our second quarter planning meeting for About Face Radio as a whole. This show is on About Face Radio, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our mission is to take veterans and first responders, give them a platform to broadcast on, and let them tell their stories. And it doesn't have to be their military or their policeman stories. It can be, if you want to have a show about fly fishing, if you want to have a show about hunting, whatever it is that you want to, and want to get into media, we are who you come to if you are a veteran or first responder. So a few things. One, we're changing the name. We are no longer About Face Radio. We are About Face Media, because some of the DJs are looking to get into movies, short films, writing books, things like that. So we needed to be more inclusive.
I like that.
Got sound back. Yay. Cool. Like to hear that. What was the other thing? Oh, we have $1,000 in the bank. Long story short, which is kind of cool because we've never had more than $3,000 in the bank. So that means we're hitting our bills. But in order for us to bring on more first responders, more veterans, more people that want to broadcast and do their thing, equipment costs money. We got to pay for the airtime, the software, all the microphones, all that stuff. We need donations. So if you're looking to support a 501c3, or you better yet, a company looking to come alongside About Face Radio and support veterans who want to get into media, we would love to have your support. If you want to go to our website, which again is under construction because it costs money, there's a donate now button. Would love to have you drop $1 or $2 in the bucket. It would be a huge help to us. The board of directors have given me an impossible task to raise a whole ton of money, but I'm working on it. Thanks to listeners like you.
I'm curious about something now.
Hit me.
See, that goes right along with what I was about to say. Now, we went through this period where if you said a certain thing, I hit you. I'm curious.
I've been very good about that.
I'm curious. I didn't hit you just a minute ago.
Did I do it?
No, you did another one now. You said About Face Radio, but now it's About Face
It's
Media. So every time you say About Face Radio, am I supposed to smack you so we break the bad habit? Right?
You are.
Okay.
So I'm going to start wearing a mouth guard to broadcast.
It better not be one of those cheap ones.
I've seen what you do to other people's faces.
It better not be one of those cheap ones from Dick's Sporting Goods. You better go to your dentist to get one.
No. I get a good boil and bite one that you get at like Walmart or something.
Okay.
It goes with my Everlast gloves that I
Nice.
have. How was your week, man? Before
it was
before we
good.
bring on Bernie, how was your week?
And before I do, or as I lead into our usual promotion for Thigh Huggers, the announcement of the day is I no longer have crutches.
I see that. You
So
got the
not
pin cane.
only can I get up and say, look at the Thigh Huggers, they're awesome. Go to thighhuggers.com. If you put in the coupon code one shot, 30% off, 15% goes to our nonprofit and helps out, but I can dance now for you guys, right? Because I'm moving around, no crutches.
I feel like there's an orthopod
I am
somewhere.
cleared to go to a cane.
I feel like there's an orthopedic surgeon watching this show right now going, hey, no, you're supposed to be doing that.
Right? Yep. So,
It is 6:14.
okay.
We can bring Bernie on a little bit early.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Because I'm kind of excited about this interview.
I like this one. This one's going to be fun.
You down? All right. Here we go, folks. Let's talk to Guitars for Vets. Bernie,
That would be me.
it's good to see you, man. We talked on the phone once, but it's good to see your smiling face.
Oh yeah, I've just been enjoying the Garth thing here.
The Garth thing? Garth
Yeah.
Brooks? Or Wayne and Garth?
No. Wayne and Garth.
I have made that comparison before. You're not far off. Sometimes my hetero life mate here has a mullet and looks just like Garth. So yes.
A mullet would be interesting.
Classy. I like to say classy.
Honestly, Bernie, don't we do it for the ladies in our lives, not for ourselves?
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
The wife actually told me she's going to leave me if I cut my mullet.
Really?
She did. And for some reason.
Why'd you
she's
shave
still-
your head then?
I don't know.
Crystal, he loves you, I swear.
Oh.
Bernie, it is so good to have you on the show. I'm super excited about this one. We got a lot of feedback as we were pimping this interview for the week leading up to tonight. We got a ton of feedback. People were asking, how can I help? How can I donate? Are you looking for instructors? All kinds of stuff. But let's start at the beginning. Tell us what Guitars for Vets is and what you do.
Sure. Guitars for Vets was founded sometime around 2007 by Patrick Medicine, and he was teaching a Vietnam vet who had challenges, and he found out that teaching the guitar helped that veteran deal with his challenges. So they took it up to Zablocki Medical Center up in Wisconsin, and they started the program there, and it grew. We are now a 501c3. We have 140 chapters throughout the country, and we graduate. Last year we graduated almost 900, almost 1,000 graduates actually. So what we do is we give guitar lessons to veterans at various locations, mostly right now at veteran facilities. We give them 10 individual private lessons. After they've completed their 10 lessons, we give them a brand new acoustic guitar and all the accessories that go with it. And it works. It's a great program.
That's incredible.
I love this. And we talked about this earlier, Bernie. I'm gonna sound like a customer. I like all the customer questions.
Hit it.
Because my whole life I really wanted to learn how to play the guitar. It's been one of those back pocket things I haven't done. So when Rob started telling me about your program, I was like, man, that's it. I mean, because we hear programs all the time. I'm always like, oh, that would be cool. Oh, that would be cool. You know, so I'm like, damn, that's really fitting. I'd like to do that. This is one I would love to do.
There you go. Go to your local VA.
I assume, but I shouldn't. Somebody that has no, skills besides the little kid's ukulele. You guys welcome that, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. I've been doing this 13 years now. And I can tell you that I've had students who had no clue and who were very, very challenged and difficult to instruct. And I've had some students who were far better guitar players than I am, and they wanted to learn theory. So you run the gamut. You just never know what you're going to get, and everybody's teachable. And as long as you set expectations properly, it's a really wonderful. I mean, I'm retired, I'm a veteran, and I've been playing guitar since I was in the womb. So it's this is what I love doing. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do, to be honest, in retirement anyway.
What branch of service were you, Bernie?
I was Air Force.
What'd you do in the Air Force?
Depending on which life in the Air Force you're talking about. I spent time in Vietnam. I was in Khe Sanh. Our little group of Air Force people, we supplied power production and navigational aids to essentially the spooks. The Army, back then they called them Special Operations Group, the SOG teams. So we were attached to one of them in Khe Sanh, and we kind of like took care of each other, and we gave them power and navigational aids for all the little things that they did that nobody's supposed to know about. And then of course the navigational aids were for everybody, but they were the primary users of it. So I did that. And then I came back and I spent 2 years in California in civil engineering at Georgia Air Force Base in California.
Well, thank you for your service, Bernie. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you guys too. Yeah.
We volunteered, man. You might not necessarily did. So.
Oh, I did, but it was, it was like pick your poison.
Yeah.
I was going to go one way or the other, and I grew up in New York City. I started playing in bars when I was 16 years old. So I had an active life. I worked for the phone company. The daytime, at nighttime, I played out in a band, and it was like I got to control my own destiny here. So I had a number that was going to get me going. So I just enlisted and said I'd see if I can control some part of my destiny.
So a couple of the messages that we got leading up to this interview, and people are listening right now, were things like, A, how can I get involved? I'd like to learn how to play the guitar.
Okay. So involved as a student or involved as a volunteer? So let's say involved as a student first.
Yes, sir.
So we have a website, www.guitarsforvets.org. And you can go there, and there's a lot of good information there that tells you where our chapters are. And we actually have what we call cyber chapters, where students can get virtual lessons online. If there's no chapter near them, they can sign up for virtual lessons, which is really pretty cool. And that was an outgrowth of COVID, but it turned out to be pretty fortuitous. So you can do that, or if you are at a VA that has a chapter with Guitars for Vets, you go to your case/social worker and ask for a consult into the department that's hosting it. In most VA centers, it's recreation therapy. In the clinics, it's just whoever's in charge of the clinic. It's got clinics are an odd thing, but we have chapters at vet centers, we have them at CBOCs, we have them at VA medical centers, we have them everywhere. So the thing to do is find out what's close to you, depending on where you're located. Go to your caseworker and ask them. And if there's nobody there, reach out to us. Send an email to Bailey at guitarsforvets.org. Her contact information is there, and say you want to start a chapter there, and see. They'll start out and they'll see. Maybe they can find somebody who wants to take over a chapter, start one. But now, if you want to help, go to guitarsforvets.org, and we have all of our volunteers are volunteers. They're non-compensated volunteers. You don't have to be a veteran to be a volunteer. You do have to be 18 years old. You do have to undergo a background check. And if you're at a VA medical facility, any VA facility, you have to become a VA volunteer. And as a VA volunteer, of course, you have to have a background check, and you have to adhere to all of the local requirements. And it's not blasphemy, but there's that old saying, there's over 2,000 VA facilities in the country. If you've been to one VA, you've been to one VA.
Very, in my opinion, from my experience and opinion.
Well, it's what we deal with, but we have a great relationship with the VA. We have a really outstanding relationship with them. They've been supportive of us. We've actually been able to negotiate nationwide agreements with them, which is virtually unheard of. So we've partnered with them over the years, and it's a partnership with them. Now, like I said, you can. Somebody wants to start a chapter, they could start a chapter at a VFW, or an American Legion, a church. You could start a chapter anywhere if you go through the process and get yourself established right. So it's and again, www.guitarsforvets.org. Reach out to Bailey, Bailey at guitarsforvets.org, and she'll help it get on the straight path to do it.
So I'm curious. Now we know how to get involved. What is your, let's say, completely novice, never played before person expecting to get out of those 10 initial how to play guitar? Are we going to start playing, Rob's favorite song from Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine? Or are we going to?
I hate Guns N' Roses.
No. Well, let's go back a little bit. First of all, most of our student base are veterans who are facing challenges.
Right.
All right. So that's you start out with that. The other thing then is we have no curriculum. We start out with Hal Leonard's basic beginner book, #1, and we use that as a template. But there's no curriculum, and there's no tests. The goal is to give the veterans a positive experience so that they can come away from this to feel better about themselves and feel like they've accomplished something and feel like they can handle things better. So we don't want them to have any sense that they failed. So we don't set, the goal is to make them happy and have them have a positive experience. I had people have asked me, well, what's your best student story? Who's the best student you ever had, and what did they go on to do, and what? That's not what it's about. My most rewarding student was a gentleman who had neuropathy. He was in a wheelchair, and he had a lot of problems. At the end of 10 weeks, he could play 2 chords, an E minor and an A minor, and he was the happiest guy I've ever met. We gave him his new guitar, and he's sitting there in his wheelchair, and we're sitting there strumming together, and we both had tears in our eyes. That's what the program's about. It's not, you're not out to make guitar. I'm sorry.
I said you made my night, man. That's the kind of stories we like to hear.
I like that.
And
That was good.
and that's what we're about. I mean, that's really what it's about. There's if you're good, you're good. If you're as long as you're happy, that's the thing we want to impress on people. See, this is supposed to be a positive experience for you.
I like that.
Dude, yeah, I love these stories like this. This is exactly what our generation is looking for, Bernie. Keep it up, man. You are crushing it. Hey,
Yeah.
So talk to us about donations. We got a couple of messages asking, hey, can I donate a guitar I have? Hey, can I donate money? What can we do to support?
Yes. Yes. So money is easy. Money you on the website. Money you send a check up to our accountants, and that's and it's tax deductible. We are, like I said, a registered 501c3. Equipment, depending on where you're located and what you're donating. If it's worthwhile, we will pay to have you ship your donation to us. But again, it has to be, it can't be like a $50 beater guitar. Excuse me. If it's a regular old guitar, like we first of all, we teach acoustic guitars. That's what we use to teach all the time, is acoustics. So we and for the 10 weeks of the program, we loan a student a guitar and a gig bag and the accessories they need to get through the day. So we need student guitars to give out to the students when we loan them out. And again, depending on where you're located, if you have a local chapter, they'd love to have the student guitars. Reach out to them, and you can reach out to them on the website. There's a map, and it'll tell you how to get in contact with every chapter coordinator that we have in the country. And you can click on that, reach out to them, and say, I've got something I want to donate to you. If it's equipment, amplifiers, whatever, we'll pedals, we take everything. And if we cannot use it offhand, we have a Reverb website, and we monetize it. It costs us about $200 to put a student through the program. It's rough. It's been hard to pin down lately, but it's around $200. So if somebody donates a few things and we can sell them and make $200, that's a student that we can put in the program. And it amplifiers, the same thing. A lot of times it's like guitar shows, like here where I live, we have a lot of guitar shows. So we used to have more, unfortunately, but anyway, we would take donated stuff and go to the guitar shows and sell them. And then that money goes back up to the headquarters, and then we just use that to support putting more students through the program.
Bernie,
we do have a budget.
Social media platforms, can people find you on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Everything's guitarsforvets.org.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're everywhere.
Bernie, do you have a favorite guitar player? Who do you like?
Kenny Burrell, Wes Montgomery. I'm an old jazz guy.
Oh,
I'm an old jazz guy. Yeah. If you're talking about modern guitar players, J.J. Cale is one of my favorites. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's an Oklahoma dude. Yeah. Well, okay. History lesson. You got Lynyrd Skynyrd, right? That guy's like Lynyrd Skynyrd, right?
Oh, yeah.
The song "The Breeze." J.J. Cale wrote that. The song "After Midnight" that Clapton made a hit out of.
Yeah.
Cale wrote that.
Oh, wow.
Cocaine, he wrote that. So, in fact, Clapton and J.J. Cale put out an album together 20 years ago. But yeah, he's one of my. He's a minimalist guitar player, but he's a master at phrasing. Mark Knopfler is another guy that I really love. James Burton, who was the guitar player for Rick Nelson and Elvis and everything. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of modern music, to be honest. I like I'm a retro guy, stuck in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's when I grew up. That's the music that was burned into my brain.
I'm stuck in the 80s and 90s country, so.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Wow.
Except for I make Rob
He's
listen to
trying
it
to get me to
sometimes.
listen to some Ned Ledoux and Chris Ledoux, and I'm like, I make it like through 3 songs on the way out to the super secret location, and that's about the best I can do.
Oh, well, see, I have a bunch of friends that I still jam with on a regular basis, and they were when we and we used to play regularly out back in the early 2000s and late 2000s, and people said, "You play any country?" Yeah, and then we go into some George Jones, some Johnny Cash, some oh God, senile moment, but the old traditional country music is
The
what we
good
used to really love.
the good music.
Yes, yeah, like I said, modern music. My favorite. If somebody would say, "Who's your favorite modern band?" It would be the Foo Fighters. So,
Hell yeah, absolutely.
so they're like way up there on the list of things. But music is so diverse, and it's so expansive. I don't dislike. I don't hate any music. I embrace all kinds of music, and when you try and teach people who come in, we have a real diverse population up here at Heinz where I teach, and you have to be able to play and teach anything, and you get an appreciation for different types of music. You guys fans of the Beach Boys? Did you see the Beach Boys special last night?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I grew up on the Beach Boys. I don't listen to them much anymore. My
Yeah,
parents.
no, yeah. Well, you had smart parents. I drove my kids crazy.
Right now. Guess what I'm going to hear about? But yeah,
I know. But yeah, the Beach Boys last night, they had Pentatonics, which is an a cappella group. They did Heroes and Villains by the Beach Boys. It was outstanding, just outstanding. So there's all kinds of music, whether you like that particular genre of music or you don't, you can appreciate the talent and you can appreciate what they do. And again, when we have veterans come in and they want to learn a particular thing, we don't judge them. We don't say, "Oh, I hate that kind of music," or "I don't like that." And so it's just there's a museum out in Phoenix called the Musical Instrument Museum.
Okay.
If you ever get there, it's just an amazing place. But it's the history of all musical instruments, and the motto is, "Music is the language of the soul." And I thought that's really appropriate, especially for a nerd like me who tries to do this stuff. So it's just yeah.
Yeah, we get down there once in a while riding motorcycles, so I will have to check that out.
It's on the northeast side of Phoenix. It's great.
Very cool. Very cool. Bernie, you whether you realize it or not, man, you're doing amazing things for veterans. This has got a lot of potential to do some really good stuff. So for example, I have a head injury. And so one of the things that they recommended was to pick up an instrument. And I have a guitar and I started lessons and I learned how to play Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. And that's about where it stopped.
Okay.
So, consistency. I have to get more consistent. So, and that's the head injury part.
Well, yeah. I mean, those are the challenges that a lot of veterans face. Our motto when we bring new instructors on board, we drill into them. We call it our PAGE philosophy: patience, acceptance, gratitude, and empathy. Ooh. And this is the way we approach all of our students. And it's just like, you hate to use the term damaged, but a lot of veterans are damaged.
We're damaged. We get it. Our listeners.
We just lost one of our students 2 weeks ago, 33-year-old Iraqi vet, and he was my student. And I went to the funeral with his mother and his brother, and we deal with this ourselves. And it's sometimes it's challenging for us to work with students we know are suffering. Yeah, and we're not therapists. We don't provide therapy. We can't. We never purport to provide therapy. We never make any claims to it. That's why we work in the VA. We work with a recreation therapist, a trained therapist, to help us navigate the students sometimes. But you still, if you're the least bit empathetic, you kind of like take on their suffering, and it gets to you too. So I mean, it's a rewarding thing. I mean, all of my instructors, they all say the same thing. You know, we get more out of it than the students sometimes because of the happiness and when they get their new guitar and they're sitting there and they're holding it and they're playing it and they're just so excited. And I did this. They accomplished something, and that's the reward we get when we see that.
So I would tell you, it may not necessarily be therapy, but it is therapeutic.
I was just going to say that. I was like, you know,
Oh yeah.
like music is therapeutic, whether you're not actively saying we're doing therapy, music is still therapeutic.
Jiu-jitsu.
It is.
Jiu-jitsu thing.
It is. I mean, to this day, I sit here and I'm a late guy, so I go to bed midnight, 1 o'clock, and get up at like 9, 9:30, 10. But
I said, goodness, that's got to be nice.
well, you know, I've always been a night person. I mean, like I said, I grew up in New York playing in bars, and in New York, when you played bars, you started at 10 and you quit at 2. So that's, you know, I've always been that way. It's just I'm a night owl. But in any case, I'll get up like last night. I was listening to the Beach, or the night before last, listening to the Beach Boys thing, and off into my little music room, get one of my quieter guitars and start playing it, and you know, figuring the song out, and I got that, you know. And it's like it's when it hits you, you can go take it and avail yourself of it, and it is therapeutic. It's really amazing.
Bernie, this has been one of the best interviews we've had. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. My homeboy here is going to talk you through the last few steps.
So we always give you 2 minutes at the end of your interview. If we glossed over anything, if there was just like some question you wish we would have asked because you had the perfect answer ready or whatever, you get about 2 minutes. It's your time to say whatever you want.
Well, I'll get on my high horse and preach a little bit, maybe. People always ask, what can we do to help the veterans? Okay, well, there's a lot of things you can do. Volunteer at a soup kitchen, volunteer at the VA, volunteer at a vet center, a homeless vet center. The other thing you can do is when you're walking down the street and you see some guy sitting there busking on the street and it's a veteran, don't judge him. Throw $1 in his jar. When you see a homeless person on the street and a veteran needs help, don't judge them. Help them. And the other thing I would say is we need to elect politicians who support veterans, not just in words, but in actions. I'm not going to go any further than that, but that's whatever side of the fence you're on, people say a lot of things, but they don't do it. So that's one of the things we need to do. And again, Veterans Day, Memorial Day aren't the only 2 days in the year that we should be supporting veterans. We should be supporting them every day of the year. And I think we need to have more awareness. Like, there's just too many veterans that are homeless and too many that are dying. And like I said, this is especially tough for me because I just lost one 2 weeks ago. So please be more aware of what the veterans are going through, and don't be judgmental of people who you see who aren't as fortunate as you are. And go to www.guitarsforvets.org and see what you can do for us, with us.
I think you just got a round of applause throughout the entire internet radio. That was awesome.
Well, I hope so. Like I said, I love doing this. This is, I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing at this stage of my life. So thank you for giving us an audience, and thank you for helping us out.
Hey, Bernie, I know you might not be comfortable with this, and you can tell me to shut the hell up. That's fine. Would you mind telling us the name of the young man that you lost?
Jakub Ignacek. He's Polish. Ignacek, yeah. If you go to my chapter's Facebook page, which is IL Chicago, Guitars for Vets, IL Chicago, I posted the information about him. He was an Iraqi vet, and I don't want to. I don't. It's not appropriate for me to share a lot of information about it. But he, it was awful. I mean, we went to the service. We sang a couple of songs. We did Hallelujah and Knocking on Heaven's Door, and we spent some time with the family, and it's tough.
My wife just texted while she's listening to the show, and she said, "Go big or go home. Nice job. Well done to you."
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, wife.
We do a section here on the show called Never Forgotten, and we work very hard to make sure that all of our peers' names get remembered. So
Okay, there you go.
you just did that for us.
Yeah, he was a young man. He was emigrated to this country about 20 years ago, became a citizen, and spent hell in Iraq, and he came home a different person. So, as I'm sure you guys are well aware.
We're very aware. And that's why we sit in this chair every Monday night and kind of talk shit like this through. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to my new best friend in the whole world, Bernie, with Guitars for Vets. Guitarsforvets.org. Go check them out. If you are a veteran, you're listening to the show. If you do first responders, Bernie?
Pardon me?
Veterans. Do you do first responders as well, or just veterans? Correct?
No, just veterans.
So if you're a veteran, go check out guitarsforvets.org. If you are sitting in a chair right now and your wallet is bothering you because it's got too much money in it, go to guitarsforvets.org. Give them all that money because they could use it to help support vets. If you are a guitar player and you'd like to start a chapter of guitarsforvets.org, reach out to your local VFW, reach out to your local VA, Legion, whatever it may be. Let's get this going. Music is doing great things for veterans, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it. Thank you so much for being on From the Ashes Radio on About Face Media.
Thank you guys both for giving us the audience. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for what you do.
You have a great rest of your night. Play some guitar.
You too, man. Take care.
I still don't like country music, dude.
It's okay. It doesn't judge you too much.
Ready for a break?
I'm ready to go to Guitars for Veterans and
start
taking lessons.
Yeah,
we can totally take a break.
You need a break? You ready?
I'll stretch out a little
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I have no idea what it is that we're going to be doing, but we'll find out together. We may or may not have Allie. I don't think that we do.
You're finally back at her place.
Come on, play.
You're finally back at her place for a little brown chicken brown cow when you get hit with love potion number 2.
Are you okay?
You skip to the loo before that keister kangaroo jumps out of its pouch. Now, what do you do?
Hurry up, come on. Come on, I'm on a date. This isn't happening right now.
You let that badonka-donk honka-honk and strike a match in the hopes you won't strike out. But alas, your chance of date number 2 just went up in flames.
Are you okay?
Do you have insurance? Just
It
wondering.
smells like burnt hair and blue cheese.
I got it.
Are you positive?
Don't worry about it.
Are you sure you're okay? You there?
You drop trow and give it your all like it's a one-shite stand.
I'm gonna be single forever.
You fill the air with fragrance to keep your craps under wraps. But instead you come out smelling like...
Did you spray my perfume? And poop? Not even on my worst day would this be okay. Not even in my most desperate times. I shaved my entire body for this night. Hard no.
That's my favorite part of that commercial. I shaved my entire
I
body.
think I like the Keister kangaroo. I think that's my new jam. I'm gonna start saying.
Got yourself a little Keister kangaroo going on there before you get on the mats.
Yeah, I'm not saying turtle head, jumper at the door, none of that. Now it's Keister kangaroo.
That's awesome.
We need to contact somebody currently in the Army to make sure that they know we don't only need to say jumpers at the door. We can say Keister kangaroo.
Let me find this. Hang on a second. You're gonna like this one.
Uh-oh.
All right. Yeah, kind of. Little bit of an uh-oh. Yes. Have you met my friend Carrie Brooks? I think you have.
I saw something about this, and I think I know her.
Yes, you do. You met her at Bighorn. So she rides. She works for Yamaha. She sells motorcycles for Yamaha. She goes all over the world selling motorcycles for Yamaha and big ones, like some pretty cool ones. Yamaha's got some cool bikes.
Yeah.
And she lets me ride. I know it's not your thing, but she's got some cool bikes. So we don't have Allie tonight. We'll have her next week, don't you worry. But so today I'm reading off of my buddy JJ Lewis's Facebook page. He is on the board of directors for the Motorcycle Relief Project. Unfortunately, Carrie Brooks had a severe accident yesterday, but is now in stable condition, and we are on our way back to the border. They were riding motorcycles in Mexico. We do need some help from the Facebook adventure riding community, especially those who have MedJet coverage. Carrie purchased a MedJet policy with motorcycle repatriation coverage, and they are refusing to cover the cost of the return of her motorcycle to the States because she was not at the physical address when she purchased the policy. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. However, as many of you know, Carrie works as a rep in the motorcycle industry and lives on the road for her RV with a moto trailer. She's actually not far from us, but yes, she basically lives in a trailer most of the time. I have been a MedJet rep for the past 8 years and will no longer represent this company. I'm asking the adventure riding community to advocate for Carrie. If you are so inclined, get a piece of paper and a pencil. The main number for MedJet is
here we go.
205-595-6626. We are now carrying her bags amongst 4 remaining bikes, and she's riding double to get to the border in significant pain, and we are hoping to get her checked out in the States as soon as possible. So I need to be clear about this. Carrie Brooks is a good friend of mine and who does good stuff. She is helping people out. What the AF? I love that comments when I log back in. What the AF? Oh, that's cool. Hang on. I'll get to you, Jeff Zinnemeister. Bernie's audio is amazing, Rob. So Carrie's amazing. She is a veteran. I believe she was in the Navy. But we can get past that. We love her anyway. But she rides adventure motorcycles, rides them all over the world. I will bet she was helping someone else out on this ride when she had an accident. But she is currently across the border and is trying to get back across the border. She bought an insurance policy that is supposed to cover all this bullshit in case something bad happens. She did the right thing, and now they are refusing to honor it. So go dial that number, call them and say, hey, why are you leaving an American veteran hanging in another country when they did the right thing, and give them help. Carrie's good people. So I don't know. Have you ever ridden internationally?
I have rode the fastest Sportster I've ever seen in my life on the Autobahn.
Really? How was that?
It was cool. About 8 years ago, this summer, I was part of a motorcycle club that was international, and their headquarters was throwing a 25th year anniversary party.
Cool.
Which is a 72-hour campground, is the clubs, all sorts. It was amazing. And I like a couple of the guys that were local were like, want to ride a motorcycle on the Autobahn? I'm like, yeah. And this guy pulls up this Sportster, and I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping for a man bike. But then I started I started looking at it.
Junior
and I was
just went like this and at his radio.
right, just like that jerk. I thought Seth was cool.
You know, he just got a new bike.
He did. That's why I don't feel bad. He now has a
Fat Bob, fat
Yeah.
boy, fat.
I was
something.
thinking like a young man bike.
I agree with that.
It's not
statement.
a little child bike anymore. It's young man bike. Anyway, I started looking at this thing and I was like, what have you done to that? And he's like, that thing's a freaking rocket ship, bro. And it was so cool. Oh yeah, and trust me, I was like, hey, I'm gonna take off on this. And he's like, oh, you bury that throttle, have fun. And I had a blast for about an hour and a half or so.
I 3 years in Germany, I had my motorcycle license. I did not take a bike for a ride while I was over there.
You could have rented like a
anything.
Hayabusa, and went 200, bro.
Guy I was in my platoon, Brian Harvey, had a Kawasaki ZX6, and it was a fast little machine if you like crotch rockets. At the time, I did like crotch rockets, but yeah, and he was all up and down the Autobahn.
It's funny how when we're young, we like our ass up in the air, and as we get older, we're like, yeah,
riding this couch down the highway.
pretty much.
I
like sport bike girls. I just ride Harleys.
See now, that's the same with Bon Jovi.
You like Bon Jovi women, just not Bon Jovi.
Exactly. Precisely. I like the big hair girls. One of my favorite pictures of my wife, she was a high school cheerleader. And she's got this. Oh yeah, dude. And she's got hair that's yay big. There's a full can of Aquanet on her head.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's by far my favorite picture. And she got the cheerleading outfit on. I'm like, yeah, I'm down.
Do you know what else Aquanet is really great for? Launching potatoes.
That's the sound voice of a dad who likes to launch things. I feel like your boy likes launching taters across the fields at the super secret location.
I've not built one of those with him yet.
Good. It's probably for the best.
What do you mean good?
I don't know if
good about not having a potato
adore
launcher.
our senior executive producer, but I don't think him and explosives is probably a good idea quite yet. Because I feel like it's coming quick. Like pretty soon there's not going to be any beaver dams or anything like that in the area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's not teach him that fire and oxygen, what that creates.
I don't know if I'm with him on this. I think I'm leaning towards the immature. Let's blow things up and shoot potatoes.
For those that don't know, we were at the training range at the super secret location, and a good friend of mine is like, "Hey, let's put this tannerite inside this pumpkin and see what happens." And we did, and suddenly I was wearing a whole lot of pumpkin. So
It's
it was
because you were with this immature of all immature people who thought it was okay to shoot a pound of tannerite in a pumpkin like 10 feet away from it.
Which normally, if you live in the suburbs like I do, cops get called, things like that. But the neighbors at this particular training range, I didn't realize, own a World War II cannon and decided to start firing said World War II cannon. I wish you could have seen the look on my face the first time that thing went off. I just about shit my drawers.
Yeah, out at that private range, usually, there's
One person
almost
starts.
daily somebody pulls a round or two. But if somebody's really pulling more than a round or two, all of a sudden the other neighbors go there. And they're like, oh, you're going to shoot this. You're going to blow this up. But you won't say where that's at.
Yes, that is it.
Super secret private stuff.
Oh my God. I just looked at the calendar.
Yes.
You are not going to believe who we have next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, I'm pulling out all stops.
As you should. As you should.
I'm pulling out all stops. Gentlemen, ladies, children, dogs, cats, horses, cows. Next week, we have a man with an amazing mullet coming on. Okay. And that says a lot because I'm saying it and I'm upset I don't have it for when he comes on. I don't have my mullet, but I had to take a
hair break
vacation from the mullet. But we have thigh huggers.
Lance Liggett from Hot
Lance
Thigh
Liggett.
Huggers will be on this show, About Face Radio. From the Ashes Radio on About Face Media. So yes, that's going to be a good show.
I have a strange inclination. Me and him are going to be
thick as thieves, homies to the end. I barely know the guy, and just knowing him through the few phone calls we've had for this and whatnot. It's going to be a great show.
I'm very excited.
What else have we got coming up? We have a big tournament this coming weekend, or next weekend.
It's this weekend.
It is this weekend.
Yep.
So if you know anything about jiu-jitsu or do jiu-jitsu at all, you need to go and get. Where can people sign up for this?
It's on Smooth Comp. For those of you jiu-jitsu practitioners, you know what Smooth Comp is.
Mhm.
So go to your Smooth Comp. The Zenith Denver Open or Zenith Colorado Open is next weekend. There's also a seminar from ADCC World Champion Amy Campo on Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pumped for that one. Very pumped.
Where is that going to be?
That will be at Fulcrum. And then I believe it's Castle Rock Middle School Gymnasium is where the Zenith Open is being held on Saturday for the tournament.
Smooth Comp puts on a great competition. So my homie, Rockford Began, was supposed to come out, sign up for this tournament, and he and I were going to try to meet in the Absolute Division.
That would be cool.
It would be super cool. But he got sick, and he is stuck in Florida. So, Rocky, I hope you feel better, man. I'm sorry that you couldn't make it out to the tournament. It was going to be a good time. What else? What else we got coming up? We got
You enter in Absolute. I'm entering in same Absolute.
Why? Why do you want to be like that?
I'll ask the tournament director to put us on opposite sides so we can close out the division and we'll play rock, paper, scissors.
I'm getting. Oh, that's all right.
Then I don't have. It'll save me the embarrassment.
More importantly, Joe is coming to Colorado next week. All right. Well, good to have you, Joe. Well, are you going to be here on Monday? I got just the thing for you. So we're always looking for in-studio guests. You're more than welcome to come check us out. What else? I think that's about it. That's all the good stuff. It's about time. Yes, it is. It's about time for a safety brief.
Safety brief. Uh-oh, I wasn't thinking about this ahead of time.
I know, I wasn't either. Wait 30 minutes before you go swimming. Wear a condom. Check for an Adam's apple. Always a good one.
Watch your speed. Those bright shiny lights that give you awards for having a fast car are kind of expensive.
Yes, they are. Don't go to your medic with the same STD twice.
Why not?
You never heard this story?
No.
When we were in Kosovo, you sure you haven't heard the story of Kosovo?
Maybe.
So when I was in Kosovo in 99, 2000, you got a 4-day R&R.
Yes.
And you went to Bulgaria for that.
Okay.
And I don't know what S3 captain did this, but the top floor of the hotel was a brothel.
Okay.
Well done to him.
You did tell me this. I'm remembering you telling me.
So people would come into the clinic and they'd be like, hey, is Specialist Williams on duty today? Yes, he is. All right, well, my ankle's bothering me.
For those of you who don't know, Specialist Williams is a younger version of Shenanigans Mr. Big Titties.
And 80 pounds ago. And I was $190 at that point in my life. And so, yeah, so folks come in and be like, hey, Specialist Williams on duty today. Yes, he is. Well, can you tell him I hurt my ankle? Sure. Folks come in and they sit down at the DA station and be like, all right, let me take off your boot. Let me see your ankle. And they're like, no, it's not my ankle. Oh, all right. Okay. And I'm like, why did you ask for me? Well, because the rumor in our infantry battalion is that it doesn't hurt so much when you do it. I'm like, did you just say I have soft hands? And so, yeah, I would have people like come in and ask me by name. And I'm like, don't like that story at all. So I got a lot of rodding done when we were in Kosovo. So I handed out a lot of condoms.
Didn't help.
Didn't help at all. All right, folks, check it out. So that's about the end of the show. You got to tune in next week because we're going to have Thigh Huggers on. And if you got a good Carl or Carla story, send it our way. Although I think it's going to be hard to beat Special Forces Attachment Delta. Yeah, love to have you. Thank you so much for taking your Monday night and being a part of From the Ashes Radio on About Face Media. Love to have you. And please, by all means, make a donation. Go to the website, throw $1 or $2 in the bucket. We'd really appreciate your support.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.